All right, guys, we're back here. Sofa Kings are back in the studios, and we have a 2025 NHL way too early prediction for what things are going to shake out for the teams that are going to be making it to the playoffs or who's going to be tanking. What categories do we have so far?
So we got Stanley Cup contenders. We got our playoff locks or playoff spots. Wild card teams, so teams that are going to be competing for wild cards. We have our bubble teams, so they're like kind of in between wild card and the bottom. And then, of course, Gavin McKenna. We got the McKenna sweepstakes coming up. But we do have vetoes, don't we, Charlie?
Yeah, every single king here has a veto. So what that means is for us to be able to slot a team into one of these categories, 3 of the kings have to agree. However, if one king vetoes, use their veto card here, they can choose then where they want to slot that team into what category. So we've got a little bit of interesting stakes here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, Babs, you want to get us started? Edmonton, what do you think?
Yeah, Edmonton, in my personal opinion, I believe they are a playoff or a Stanley Cup contender again, based on everything big happened, I think, really in the East.
Mm-hmm.
The West is moderately similar other than Vegas.
Yeah.
I would say they're probably a top 4 team in the West.
Yeah, I don't think there's been enough shakeup in Edmonton to take them out of a cup contender spot.
Yeah, or around them to take them out either.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with that. I think they're it's hard. They've been back there twice.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with all the kings here. Not that we want everybody agreeing, but yes, like they're top 2, top 3 in the West.
There's going to be some that we just
Stanley Cup.
guarantee agree
Yes.
on,
Oh yeah,
'cause it's
Stanley
just
Cup
how they are.
contender. Let's do it.
Yeah. The Toyota Red Wings. You're welcome. That's a tougher one.
Wild
Bubble.
card or bubble?
I think bubble.
I think bubble.
I too am going to go with bubble.
Because they didn't get that much better. They actually were supposed to make moves.
Yeah.
No moves happened. They just got better in goal. But, like, what's in front of them still isn't going to get
Exactly.
you into the
They
playoffs.
need another year of
Yeah.
seasoning.
Was it? It wasn't this season. It was the season before where it was like the Washington and
The super
Philadelphia.
three-way.
Yeah.
The giant 3-way tie.
Yeah.
I'd put them wild card, to be honest.
So
Personally,
you think they're going to do better than one of Toronto, Florida, Ottawa, Montreal, Tampa? That's 5 right there. That's why I don't think you go wild card on that.
Yeah. I definitely have them in the bubble.
tough?
Okay, so we're going bubble. I don't think Terry's vetoing that, but
No, I'm not going to waste it.
Winnipeg.
Playoff
This is an
spot.
interesting one. I kind of go playoff spot. I think too. I just think with Hellebuck, I can't put them contender.
They got weaker. They got
Yeah.
Jonathan Taves.
They lost
and then
Ehlers.
They
Taves
lost
lost
Ehlers.
Ehlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
We
we all
think
in agreement? Playoff spot.
Yeah, I'm going playoff spot.
think they've got weaker.
Okay.
Maybe Ehlers we were discussing before. Like if it was that big of a needle
Yeah.
mover, maybe they just got slightly worse. But
Yeah.
And where are you going with Vancouver?
I mean, they lost Pia Suter. They got Brock Besser back though.
They got Kane.
I kind of want to go bubble.
yeah,
I don't know if I could see wild card with Vancouver.
I'm gonna go
Mm,
bubble.
I think wild card.
I too am going to go wild card.
Okay.
Ooh.
Split the difference on this one then.
Rock, paper,
Will,
scissors.
You want to go wild card with them,
Yeah,
or
we'll just let them. We'll give them.
yeah,
one.
we'll give them
All
this
right.
one.
St. Louis. I mean, what did they do?
Ooh.
They're slightly different, but not like.
They got
No.
Pia Suter. Now, this is before I saw a tweet before we came in. Apparently, they're front runners for Bowen Byram.
Right.
So
and-
this is before that being factored in.
Okay, now
And-
if it's Bone are we going to do a Bone Byram in and Kyrie out?
yeah,
and
because
that-
I was going to say that because a lot of chatter right now is about Kyrie getting traded.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the thing with that is apparently it would be an offer, like it's like an offer sheet comparable, kind of like the Keandre Miller, because I think Byram's eligible. So without Byram in there,
They also went on that crazy run at the end.
I say playoff spot or wild card.
I
They're gonna be
wild card.
I think wild card.
yeah,
wild
wild
card.
card.
Playoffs a little too much for me, but
Next one, bubble. They
Yeah.
got-
Yeah.
So I completely
Uh,
agree that San Jose is going to be going to the bubble. Right?
Yeah.
They have an opportunity of potentially getting in on the wild card.
Michael Misa,
No, I
Will
don't think-
Smith,
I don't think we
Macklin
get wild
Celebrini.
card.
they just signed Orlov. They got Nicoletti.
I think they're going to be a better team than last year, which has to project them into the bubble. They can't be bottom again, and they're rookies.
Yeah.
Like their young players are getting seasoned now.
Yeah,
They made signings.
I go
Bubble.
bubble with that.
fair.
All right,
I will
and
say that's a team that's very exciting to keep an eye on.
Oh,
with
yes.
their future.
I'm going last on this one.
so I'm going to say, and I'm a massively fan. I'm putting the Habs right now in a playoff spot,
I am too.
Jesus Christ, who am I sitting?
which is wild.
I'm going
I-
last.
They've been doing
Terry,
a
you
really
gotta
good
go
job,
here.
Yeah.
and they got better than last year.
Yep. They're in such a good position to get out of the wild card and go into third.
I would say playoff spot for sure. Terry?
All right, I'll give you guys.
All right,
one.
let's go.
Yeah.
Playoff spot. I was between wild card and playoff spot, but I do kind of agree with you guys. Columbus, though.
Oh God, this is so easy.
I think that's a wild card.
I think it's a bubble.
I think Columbus is bubble.
Columbus was a wild card. Like they were right there this year.
I think they'll be right there again. Given everyone
That's why I
around
think.
them.
That's why I think it's like a wild card.
I
They're,
don't think
fighting
there's-
for that wild card.
They
spot. I
haven't
don't
done
think-
anything that suggests that they're going to move.
What is their most notable move this free agency?
Nothing.
They extended Cole Sillinger for a year.
Yeah, I see the silence we had
So-
there. Everyone around them got better.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think they're competing for a wild card spot, but I don't think they make it. And based off that, I put them bubble because wild card is like teams. It's like I see a greater than 50% chance they're gonna make it. The
Yeah.
wild card.
I feel like a wild card is just the teams that are going to be fighting for that spot. It's not because anybody below that is going to be bubble then considered.
Yeah, but I see bubble. It has a harder chance of getting into the wild card spot, and I do not see right now Columbus holding a wild card spot.
yeah, bubble.
All right, Terry, you lead the next one.
All right, we're doing bubble for that one. Terry.
Jersey, eh? Ooh. What has Jersey done?
Resign
Re-signed
Jake
Allen.
Allen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Connor Brown.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Connor
Connor
Brown.
Brown. That's a
Oh,
not bad one.
Yeah, that's all right.
And they're gonna have guys coming back from injury.
I was gonna say, Jack. They
Wild
made
card?
the playoffs. Well, how long was Jack Hughes out for? He was out for a while, right?
You could say a wild card spot is probably doing them some disservice. So I think that makes the most sense given Sheldon Keefe's the coach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
True, and I think
no
wild,
playoff spot just
and I-
because you said that.
and I think wild card is safe,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
No,
yeah,
wild
the
card.
wild card
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Vegas. I mean,
Contender.
obviously a contender.
I
Yeah.
go cup
Contender.
contender.
Cup
That's an
contender,
obvious
Yeah.
one.
easily.
Just
Mar-
give them the
fuck
cup now.
Marner.
Let Marner bring it back to Toronto.
I think Marner Eichel get 100 points each. That wouldn't shock anyone. I think.
The Ducks
Ooh.
are still Gavin McKenna sweepstakes.
Yeah,
You think so?
They got better?
I think bubble maybe.
But I don't think they got better enough to compete with the teams in front of them. I
Listen-
think they were really bad, and now they're just bad.
listen, there's going to be a number of teams that we're going to put in the tank condition here, and like we can always filter one out if need be at the end. But
Was
right
gonna
now,
say,
like they're hardcore going to be going for McKenna. That's a franchise player for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd put McKenna.
They didn't spend the money. Like, they got Granlund. Is
They
that
still
gonna be
have
a
28 million cap
Yeah,
space.
is that going to be a huge needle mover for them, a 35-year-old Granlund?
And with so much cap space left, like they're going to be able to bring in a lot of assets and be able to flip for a first, second round pick. Like
yeah.
they're definitely going for tank.
They're spending the money next season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say sweepstakes. Florida Cup contender.
Easily.
Yeah,
That's
all of us agree.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody disagrees
Yeah.
with that one.
Utah.
Ooh.
This is tricky.
Yeah.
Bubble?
Right? I put you. I put
Yeah.
Utah. Producer Nick.
They were supposed to be a buyer. They didn't really buy that much.
Yeah,
No.
I almost want to put them in McKenna.
Okay, so you had the trade with Buffalo.
They got JJ Paterka.
Yeah.
I'm going-
That's their big get.
I'm going with bubble on this
Yeah,
one. I
bubble.
think.
We are all three of us have
Bubble.
already said
Okay,
bubble. I
yeah,
think
alright.
that's the fair spot. Ducks, McKenna sweepstakes.
You mean Penguins?
Penguins.
Sorry,
Wrong
Penguins,
bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wrong bird.
You got so
Yeah,
excited.
The
about
one that's
Ducks
not
there for a
flex.
second, too.
I think I go McKenna sweepstakes. There's rumors
Yeah,
of
100.
Carlson being shipped off. I mean, Carlson.
No, that's
yeah,
that.
definite in the tank.
I was
Uh,
having this conversation today. I think they should be getting rid of everybody that's not named Sidney Crosby that's
Yeah.
over the age of 35 and try to get picks for them.
Yeah, they
That's
should
fair.
try and get draft picks for them.
This
Yeah.
is going to be a fun
Correct.
one. Washington.
I think they're a wild card team.
So
Man.
I think that Washington is going to have a massively down year.
Yep.
And because like everybody rallied around Ovechkin getting the goal lead,
Yeah.
Right? they don't have that to chase anymore. I'm saying they're a bubble team.
No
Oh,
way.
bubble?
Yeah, I know.
No.
Think about it. There's been teams.
No.
There's teams
You
that have
probably
moved
think the
up
Leafs are a
in the
cup
East,
contender,
and
dude.
one of them has to move down. Right? I don't know if they're going to be a wild card team. And Washington is notorious for having one or two great years, one or two really bad years.
Yeah, no,
Hear-
I'm going to say wild card is the
Hear me out.
fairest.
Let's put wild
Yeah.
card and then revisit it because
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to just.
Well, what are you saying, Terry?
I agree with wild card. I don't think bubble.
All right, so we'll slaughter right now wild card.
Minnesota's in the sweepstakes.
You think so?
I think someone has to die in the West.
No.
Someone's got to go in the West.
No.
There has to be a traumatic downfall in the West, given how much, somebody has to.
Well, they're still Chicago.
Yeah. So right now, I'd see them more of a bubble, but very close to McKenna sweepstakes.
No way. What?
I go bubble too. I think.
Right, I'll
Am I the only one who thinks wild card?
I'll
No.
concede on bubble.
That's crazy.
But
I
why
almost
is
wa- I
that?
almost
Why
wanna
is that
use my
crazy?
veto here because they
So
what
you
they
want to
did-
spend your veto on this
what
on
they did
Minnesota?
last season without 2 of their best players.
Mhm.
I feel like that's like they're not getting worse.
All right.
The Oilers stayed roughly the same. The Golden Knights got better. I mean, the Jets maybe a little worse.
Yeah.
They're still a better team.
Well,
Is it fair, Terry, to go bubble and then revisit? Them in Utah
Yeah,
will revisit as of right now.
Let's put them in bubble right now. We'll revisit.
Oh,
Okay. Rangers, wild card.
Wild card.
No
Wait, no, bubble.
bubble.
Yeah, bubble.
100%.
They got better.
By what? Adding more fucking
Getting
Russians
rid
and
of Keandre
Europeans?
Yeah,
Miller?
and they got a really good coach. They got Mike Sullivan's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah.
He should be able to put those elite pieces together.
Dude, they have locker room issues. They have talent issues. They have strategy issues. I don't see fucking Rangers getting better this year.
I mean, they already did.
Yeah, by adding like signing in a trade, like I don't know. I just don't see it.
Yeah, last year's season kind of scares me for them.
I'm gonna look up their lineup. Keep arguing.
Oh, okay. Are we able to pull up Puckpedia?
That's what I've been doing. Very quickly. We
That
just
would
got to
actually
the
be
end.
really nice to see lineup.
They got Gavrikov. That's their big get. They got Morrow as well, who will help out their D.
They got it a little better. They didn't lose a lot on forward, really.
They didn't lose anything on forward.
But like, are you saying that they're a lock for wild card?
Yeah, I would say with Mike Sullivan, they'd be a lock.
Who else agrees with that statement?
I could concede to wild card.
I wouldn't say they're a lock for a wild card, but I think they're a wild card.
They're definitely not
All right,
bubble.
then all right,
think
then yeah, we can go wild card.
Yeah, I could see them fighting for the wild card spot. So
The Islanders have to be
we McKenna
sweep.
sweepstakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
McKenna
I don't
sweepstakes.
think anybody's going to disagree
Yeah.
with that one.
Same thing, I think, with Seattle. Did Seattle get significantly better again?
I
No,
don't think so.
No.
I think they're sort of bubble.
They're like that in the. If there
Yeah.
was one more slot between
Yeah.
Bubble and McKenna, it would go there. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bubble.
yeah, Seattle in the bubble. I've got Ottawa.
Sorry, Seattle bubble or McKenna?
Bubble.
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 Okay, sorry.
Bubble, because they
Yeah.
are in between.
Ottawa.
So
push up.
I have Ottawa right now as wild card.
Did they add pieces in Ottawa? No,
No,
didn't.
they haven't. They haven't done one thing.
Wild
No.
card, I think, is a fair assessment.
Like look who we have right now in the playoff spot.
We have 5 teams that.
I
actually make
can't
the
say
playoffs.
confidently that they are considerably worse than the Habs right now.
They're worse than the Habs.
Yeah. No,
So
there
you
was-
go Florida, Toronto, Montreal. If that's your 3,
Yes.
do you think Tampa's ahead of them?
Yes.
Yes.
So they're
But by a fucking smidgen.
so then yeah, I guess wild card's kind of fair there.
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
them missing though. I wouldn't be shocked if they missed.
Correct.
Okay, so wild card for
Wild
Ottawa?
Yeah, wild card for Ottawa.
Wild card. Boston,
Bubble.
McKenna.
I mean, not bubble. McKenna. Sorry.
Yeah, McKenna.
Boston
Yeah.
McKenna for sure.
Yeah, they got worse and they
All right.
didn't add. They
Can you
actually
imagine
overpaid.
fucking McKenna
Oh
on a
God, please.
Boston?
And Hagen's.
Ooh.
Oh,
I would
no.
want to
All right.
fucking die.
Colorado. Do we want Terry to lead us off on this
Yeah,
one?
Terry, you start. Where do you want your team?
I feel like Colorado's always a cup contender. It's just getting past Dallas.
McKenna sweepstakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say bubble.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That makes a lot of
Rahal?
sense.
Rahil?
Nathan McKinnon.
Who's that?
Yeah.
McKinnon, Nelson, Colton, Ivan. That's their center depth.
Right. So where are you going?
Kind of want to go bubble.
Raw.
I kind of want to go bubble.
I'll go bubble.
So everybody's got a
Okay,
veto.
well, I'm obviously using my veto. If you guys are going to be dumb about this.
Okay, where are they going?
so where are you
then?
slotting them in?
Cup contender 100.
All right. Colorado, cup contender.
Mackenzie Blackwood, you better lock the fuck in for
Yeah.
Terry, apparently.
Veto has been used from Terry.
Buffalo, McKenna sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
McKenna sweepstakes.
100%.
Yeah.
LA Kings,
Playoff.
playoff spot.
Playoff spot.
They got better.
I got a future on them to come out
Oh
of the
man, I don't believe that they're in a playoff spot. I actually think right
we
now
gotta put
it's.
somebody in the playoff.
No,
they have
I-
to be. They got better than last year, and they competed
Yeah.
with
I
Edmonton.
get it, but they still have so much cap room, and they weren't able to go out and really like get a lot of guys that they probably wanted to get.
Well, that's fine, but they still got better. They didn't really lose giant pieces. They got better. I would say because they got better, they moved
Like,
out.
and don't get me wrong. Like, I want the Kings to be there. Like,
With-
I want
yeah.
them.
I want them to win the whole thing.
With how good they were against Edmonton, and then knowing based off that they added, I'm playoff spot.
All right,
Uh,
all right. I'm
Calgary?
fine with that.
McKenna sweepstakes. They got worse.
Yeah.
No, I got Calgary and bubble.
bubble wild card air like the
They're
middle of
they're not
those two.
gonna tank for Gavin.
No.
I think they might just tank.
Pulling up their lines here. I'm cheating.
Calgary didn't.
Dustin Wolf's
But how many spots can you move up in the draft?
10? I think it's 10.
No,
It's
eight?
7 or 8.
Oh,
8 maybe. You
What
can
did-
only move
What did Utah jump?
And so where do they draft this year?
in the 10s.
Right? So I don't think they can actually go for 1 or 2 unless they're trading up.
so you
Well,
think
no,
if-
but if they fail this year, they can go up.
Right, but no, but you can only move up a certain amount of spots.
See-
Not in each draft, not year to year.
Okay.
you can only win the lottery twice in like 5 or 10 years. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, there is a cap, but
Yeah.
Okay, what you think they're a bubble team?
I
then?
see them
Yeah.
as a bubble.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
reset bubble,
haven't said anything.
but year 4, so
Yeah, you're out of here.
Yeah, you don't matter at
You
this
don't
point.
count.
All right, I'm vetoing. Put the McKenna.
Okay. That's his
all right.
veto.
These are his
That's
veto.
I
easy.
think they're gonna get rid of
He wasn't even
Kadri.
gonna pick that.
I think they're gonna get rid of Kadri and Anderson, and then I think they're literally a worse team.
Okay,
That's one of those
Carolina
guys.
guys,
Playoff spot.
I was gonna say cup contender. They got better. They had maybe got over the hump now.
Here's my
Um,
logic.
I don't disagree with that.
I don't disagree with that, but it's similar to the Leafs, and this is forecasting my pick. Until you can show me you can get past the conference finals, I can't put you in a cup contender the same way. I mean, the Leafs have won 2 rounds in a
100
century.
years.
So, like, I kind of go playoff spot because there's
Yeah.
just that
Yeah.
X they
I
can't
think
get past.
they're a guaranteed playoff spot.
Listen, if they weren't in their division, I would be having them right now in the wild card. But because they're in their division
Playoff spot.
and the other fucking teams, they're in playoff spot.
I
Okay,
go playoff,
playoff
spot.
spot's
I
fine.
think you're really underselling Carolina. But
I fucking hate Carolina. They're frauds, man.
Chicago. This is going to be a hard one.
coming
Let's
from
talk
a
about
Leaf
this.
Chicago,
fan, calling
McKenna
Cher-
sweepstakes.
Carolina frauds. McKenna, not even close. Yeah, McKenna.
Yeah,
Yeah, they-
Chicago, McKenna.
Yeah,
Sweepstakes.
Nothing
yeah.
changed.
They've gotten worse.
Cup
Dallas?
contender for Dallas.
Cup contender or playoff spot, either or. I'm
Playoff spot.
fine
They
with.
got worse.
If you're putting
Yeah, they're
Carolina,
getting worse. They're like dumping everybody.
if
So
you,
yeah,
if
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
Carolina in
true.
a playoff spot, you kind of have to put Dallas in a playoff spot.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
for sure in a playoff spot.
I don't think they're cup contender. That's what I'm saying.
okay. I'm fine with that. That's
So
fine with me.
even with them getting
Ranlin
I'm sorry.
with them having Mikko Ranlin.
Yeah.
No, well they just lost Granlund.
yeah.
No,
That's
they-
another big top 6
Yeah.
piece out. And their guys are also they have an aging team.
Sagan, Ben.
Like I'm comfortable at playoff spot. Like
Yeah.
so I digress.
Yeah, playoff
I go
spot.
playoff spot.
And
Playoffs.
same thing with Toronto. Like I see
Playoff
Toronto
spot.
playoff spot. They're not cup contenders.
I thought they'd go cup contender.
I disagree with this. I would say wild card. In all honesty,
Well, you don't have
the
a
guys,
fucking veto.
Well, they've
Oh.
gotten worse. I'm putting my point out here. The team has gotten worse. You guys haven't gotten better.
I think I would agree that Toronto on paper has gotten worse. And
Significantly worse.
I don't think that they've really filled
you
out
guys
enough
lost
in
a
the
100-point
aggregate.
player and replaced him with like a 40-point player, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Woo,
Basilio.
Well,
let's
yeah,
go."
Toronto's not done though. Is the thing.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think you guys are gonna win the division.
No, but I think
No.
we'll be in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
For sure.
here's
We'll have the 3 spot.
here's what I think. I think
I think you and Montreal are fighting it.
Probably. But
probably I wouldn't be shocked if Toronto finished in a wild card spot but had better playoff success than before, based off of how they're like kind of going a little grittier. They're going a little bit more of that like competitive compete level. They need to make some more moves. I think you go playoff spot.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Like I just see how we have the same 60. We have great goaltending, and that solidifies me that they're second or third in the division.
they just
Right?
need to. They need an RW1.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, then they have gotten better because you look at the second line piece
Yeah.
with Marcelli.
Yeah.
He'll be on that second line. That's better than Holmberg.
Yeah.
Then you
And
they'll
I-
replace that RW.
And I think Cowan stays for the full year.
Oh, that's insane.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's
Now-
that's my hot take.
Now, question: who finishes higher up, Toronto or Montreal?
Montreal.
Montreal.
I'm saying Toronto.
Oh, Montreal.
Ooh, let's put a handshake.
That
bet
might be a
on this.
handshake bet right
bet?
there.
Let's do it.
So you three are taking Montreal over Toronto?
Long-term
I'll
bet
take
right
Yeah,
here.
Montreal.
I'd say Montreal might be a real problem next year.
Right. So I'm taking Toronto over Montreal. So that's a handshake bet?
Yeah.
That's a handshake.
All right.
bet.
I'll take it.
Nashville sweepstakes.
Sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Okay. First, can we talk about how crazy the downfall of Nashville is?
It's been
They
wild.
won free agency 2 years ago, and now it's like
And they
Oh.
immediately shit the bed. Like
Yeah.
after signing Stamkos, Duchesne.
Marchessault. No, it was
No,
Marchessault.
Stamkos,
Marchessault.
and Brady Shea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. This is almost like when you win a jackpot at the casino, but then you gamble it all and it's all gone. It's not like you're at peak and then you're at the bottom again.
Yeah,
So yeah, McKenna
sweepstakes.
sweepstakes.
And then
Yeah.
Philly has to be bubble still. They got a tad bit better, but I
I'd
just
say maybe wild card, but that like bubble wild card area.
Bubble is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bubble is for sure
I go
safe.
bubble.
and then the Lightning playoffs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Lightning are
You guys don't think wild card?
no.
Okay.
No.
I like that you cannot see the Lightning logo at all.
Yeah, 'cause
I
they don't
know.
put. It's just a solid one
Yeah.
single
All right,
color.
so I'm going to throw this out. So right now we have 3 in the West as Cup contenders,
Mhm.
and I don't know if we want to leave like 2 East, 2 West.
I'm fine with 3 and 1.
I'm fine with 3.
I think the West. I think the East has gotten better, and the East has better average teams. I think the West has the better top dogs, though.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
top dogs in
that's
the
fair.
West.
Show
are
me
the
someone else from
same
the
or
East who
better.
can go up there. I don't.
The
see
only
it.
other
I
option
don't
that
have
I
one.
would put up there would be Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think just based off their history, you can't.
Yeah, and I would agree. That's the same
Yeah.
reason why you wouldn't say Leafs or anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And why I would almost say Dallas too.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we have 17 teams wild card and above.
Really?
Yeah, which you can have because but do we
Yeah.
move one team down to the bubble? That's what I'm.
No,
asking.
because I feel like the wild card is the guys that fight for it. So if you're
Mhm.
1 point out, like where Columbus landed this year, I would consider that a wild card.
But
Yeah,
I'd be interested.
Legitimately, the last.
I'd be
game of the
interested in
season.
us moving one from the wild card down so that we have 16 and
I
above.
think we have 9 in the East: Florida, Carolina, Toronto, Tampa, Montreal, Jersey, Capitals, Rangers.
There's 17.
Ottawa.
17. So let's
9
move.
in the East.
Let's
move
move
an East team down.
Let's move one wild card down a bubble. So
Devils.
I don't see it being Ottawa,
Mm,
and I don't think it's the Devils. In my opinion, I think it's either the Rangers, Caps, or Vancouver.
no way. I don't think it's the Caps.
Do we think 5 teams from the Atlantic make it?
True.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking?
So I've said my 3 teams that I'm willing to move down.
Do you think 5 teams in the Atlantic make it? Because we have 5 Atlantic teams, so no Metro team gets a wild card.
Possible.
I
not
could see it.
probable.
I could see it. So it's one of the Metro teams then, unless someone wants to veto.
Fuck Sheldon Keefe. Put the Devils down in bubble. I'm using my veto.
Okay.
Boo.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yep. They're a bubble
Charlie's
team.
gonna use his veto
Yeah.
to bring him back.
Yeah, see, I could almost I just don't like the
Then
Rangers.
if you brought them back, then we're done.
I just don't like the Rangers, man. I have zero faith in them.
But you can't swap. You would just have to either move one up or move one down.
Right, but then it would be the group would have to move one
Yeah.
from bubble back up.
No, I think this is a great list.
I
Okay,
like
so
this.
so look at the bubble for a second. Is there one that we feel on this list can actually move into wild card? So reverse.
CBJ.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it.
I don't see
CBJ's the only team that I would be like, yeah.
I could see Utah.
and the only one that I can pick there is the Devils.
you don't think Utah?
No.
I just see CBJ doing something similar to last year, where they're gonna be like right there. That's why I say they're a wild card team.
I would love for San Jose to fucking push for a wild card.
No, I don't see it yet.
No, I'm just saying I
They'll
would
be
love to see it.
It'll be better though.
They'll
Yeah.
be better, but they won't. Yeah. And this is not to say like those bubble teams are still going to be in the hunt. Like the Devils could be in the hunt.
Yeah.
The Wild,
Yeah.
Utah,
Yep.
even Columbus could be in the hunt. It's just like those teams above them we see kind of surpassing them. So
Injury prone teams continue to be injury prone.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good
Dun,
point.
Yep.
All right, I think we close.
Yeah, I
it.
think we're closed.
All right, close. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this, make sure to hop in, comment, let us know how far we were off, if you think the Leafs are going to make the playoffs or not. But hit the subscribe button because we'll have lots more stuff. And you want some podcasts and betting information, we've got all that for you.